Electricast.
Uh, uh, staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive. Yes, you heard my terrible vocals. But yeah, the Celtics staying alive. We're staying alive here on Missing
I liked
Point.
it.
I'm your man Hollywood Rich. I'm McKenna with my guy, the basketball posse, the basketball trio, Frida Hardaway. My guy DK Sizzle's back for vacation in the islands of Hawaii. So aloha, my brother, and my
Aloha.
girl,
I learned some Hawaiian when I was there. Aloha.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and well, you're back with the Ohana. You're back with the family.
And Ohana. Thank you, Lilo and Stitch,
right.
bro.
You know, Stitch, baby. That's right, baby. With my brother, Roby K. Bob Kelly. So yeah, let's get into it, man. So we're talking all things Celtics. So they found a way to stave off elimination after a horrendous game three. Really had horrendous first three games, but they found a way to get it all together, winning 116-99 on Tuesday night. So DK, I'll start with you, man. Just what were your thoughts on game four, and just why does it take for them to be on the brink of elimination for them to start playing Celtics basketball?
Well, exactly that, right? I mean, it's almost annoying that how situational this team is. Like how they need to be under extreme pressure in order to perform that specific way. Because it wasn't as though it was a game where they came in and they went absolutely bananas, like, holy shit, like all their shots are dropping, but like, can we keep that going over the next few games? They came in and played a way we've seen them play before, especially in the second half, like where they asserted their dominance in a way that I think we all thought when it was 0-0. We all thought that that's what they were going to do across 4 or 5 games in order to advance against a team that they're more talented than. I think that like the frustration over the course of this series for me mainly has been a mentality thing. Like I couldn't believe, and I know you guys did a reaction show very eloquently, disemboweling them for quitting after game 3. But I mean, I really couldn't believe that my eyes, like watching a group of players in a Celtics uniform do that is in a playoff situation with, I mean, let's be honest, their backs were against the wall at 2-0. I mean,
No.
we say, oh, well, finally they were able to get their backs against the wall and like performance. Like they're down 3-0. No one's ever come back in the history of the National Basketball Association from 3-0. I saw,
Right.
as a quick aside, I saw some fucking idiot. I was really like trolling comment sections hard over the past couple of days because it's just been like my catharsis. But I saw some idiot be like, well, plenty of people have come back from 3-1 and that's what it's at now. And I'm like, that like it made my brain explode when he said that. I was like, no, that's not how it fucking works. It's like, the Cavs didn't actually come back from 3-1 down because they made it 3-3 at one point. They just won an even series. It's like, I can't with these comments. But I think that it was a fundamental clash in the mentality of what we expect from our Boston sports athletes, especially the Celtics with their pedigree and what they were delivering on the day. And I think that it's easy to be mad at like the stars in a situation like that. It's easy to be mad at the coach making like terrible decisions. But like realistically, this is something we should have been expecting. Like they were doing stuff in the Hawks series and worse so in the 76ers series that was eventually going to get punished by a team that like could see it coming, like that watched the tape. So, I am mad at them. I'm not like thrilled with the idea that like they might not have a backbone to really commit to at this point, but like maybe there's a glimmer of hope because like if we do become the team that comes back from 3-0, I mean, I don't see this team being that team, the first team in the history of the NBA, but I mean, then you're all of a sudden everything's different. I just don't see it though, man. I really don't. Like, I don't think that the Heat are the team that you can do that to. I don't think that they're going to panic. Even if we go 3-2, I mean, maybe they start to get worried, but like, I just don't think they're going to panic. I don't think Jimmy Butler's like made of that kind of stuff. And Jaylen Brown today was like, oh yeah, we just really want to get back to Miami. Then we'd be like happy and proud of ourselves. And I'm like, so that's the goal? Like, just get to game 6? Like, don't say shit like that, dude. So yeah, I mean, their backs against the wall, they start performing is one way to look at it, or they have nothing left to lose, so they performed. is also another way to look at it, because I
Mhm.
think everybody knows that the series is pretty much fucking over. I'd love to say Celtics in 7, and shit, I will probably by the end of this episode, but
Yeah.
they make me so sad.
Bobby?
Yeah, no, you couldn't have said it better, man. It's so frustrating. You said, earlier that it kind of makes us mad. It kind of is, but no, it's very, very frustrating that that's what it takes because we saw multiple points. Me, all three of us talked about it where there was 5 to 10 minute stretches in both games 1 and 2 where you saw what we saw the entire second half of game 4, where we knew what the formula was for the Celtics to beat this team. You beat them on defense because their offense is so below yours, below what your defensive ability is, and you turn that defense into offense. It was so clear of the formula to beat this team, and they just got away from it. I don't know if it was just, they didn't have that defensive intensity. I mean, that is what it was. But it's just so frustrating to see how clear that formula is and how easy it is for them to win these games when they're perfecting that formula. It's so beyond frustrating because the path is there and they just decided not to take it for 3 games. They're like, "Hey, here you go. Here's your easy path to victory in all 3 of these games." And they said, "Fuck you. We don't want it." And that's what's beyond frustrating to me. It literally said, "We don't want it." So,
I mean, at the worst or at the best, it should have been 2-2 right now, right? I think just game 3 was just we could just chalk it up to the day, just like I said, they got outplayed. They got, they quit as we mentioned on the show. But it just ties back to late game execution. And they consistently, crumble in those moments. And obviously we saw last night that, they were about to fold, I think, when it got to like 80, 83. And I remember
beginning
texting
of the fourth. Yeah.
I was like, yo, like, what's going on? Like, why don't you have Tatum back in the game? And I want to bring this up because I know that people have gone on this coach that I'm about to bring up, meaning Tom Thibodeau, because he'll play the guys certain minutes. But I'm like, yo, at some point, guys, if you're gonna condition and guys get conditioned and they do all this stuff in the off season, at this time of the year, they should be able to go 45 minutes plus. Once again, you have 15 minutes for halftime, you have TV timeouts, you
Hell,
have some timeout. So
Can I
LeBron,
say something?
LeBron at 38 years old was averaging 45 minutes a game on
Sure,
this run. So
sure.
come on,
Yeah,
that's my
he also averaged 0 wins in his series. But I think
right. Yeah.
I
So
just say one thing in
real nice.
response to that. That was a nice salve after every Celtics game we got to watch the Lakers lost. But sure, I do think that you should be able to play that many minutes and everything. But like, don't you feel? And this is a question for either of you, honestly, but because maybe I'm off base feeling this way. But don't you feel like there's a really big difference between last year where Ime shortened the rotation in order to like have his best players and best players plus sort of sort out what the issues were and like lead the team, as opposed to this version of shortening the rotation, which feels like it's just Missoula doesn't trust half the fucking team. Like that's what it comes across as to me. Like I know that there's certain players that are defensive liabilities, but like you saw the Lakers pre the Nuggets series have players go crazy that you would never expect in series, getting them where they need to go. We've seen championship runs where there's guys on the deep bench or even the mid bench, like we're not going past 7 players at this point, right? That the Celtics and Missoula. So there's guys like Moose or Hauser that I think could have potentially come out and had like a great fucking game for us if trusted by the coach. And I think like, okay, Derek White's still getting minutes, but like I can see he's not out there in important situations. And I think that he's such a confidence player. I've been saying this for a while, that like he can tell the coach doesn't trust him, so his fucking shot goes away. And it's like, that's just bad man management. You know what I mean? Like you're not getting everybody fired up and like ready to play. Those guys on the bench should be like champing at the fucking bit to get on the floor. And like you should be giving them drips of minutes at least in order to put like 1 minute for like for these guys. It's like, come on, man. Like you need to be able to spell different situations. And especially to Bobby's point, defense, make a mid-tier player go out there and lock somebody down, especially if it's Gabe fucking Vincent that you need to go lock down. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not asking you to go defend Jimmy Butler. I'm asking him to throw 2 bodies at bench rotation from the Heat so that we can like give a little rest to the other guys. Not necessarily, I agree with you, should be able to play 44 minutes right now, especially if you're a superstar. Like Tatum should be playing those minutes, sure. But you got to trust your team, bro. Like you can't just
Yes.
win with 7
Yeah.
guys. Like,
What? No, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that I was just only speaking from at the game at that moment because the game was starting to get back into
sure.
Miami's hands, and we saw it right. It was 88-83. It was about I want to say it was like 9 minutes and 40 seconds left. Call a timeout.
Yeah.
They get headed back in there. And it's kind of leads to what I want to talk about next, right? Miami goes back to zone because Boston had been hot.
It works every
Tatum,
time.
Tatum, right? Yeah, Tatum comes into the middle. They get into the middle, and he does the Dirk one leg fade away, 90-83. Comes back down, gets the layup, 92-83, and it's like, oh, it's amazing when you look to attack from all three levels. So, Bobby, I'll come back to you on this. So, just like speak to the importance to the audience, to the listeners, that you know how scoring on all three levels really changes, not changes the game, not just for Tatum, but for the Celtics as a whole.
Well, when the Celtics get relying on that 3-point shot, A, when it's not falling, and B, even when it is falling, they become so easy to defend because you can just either commit all the way to that perimeter or they're going to be doing this driving kick. So it's so pivotal to me. I couldn't agree more. Scoring from that all three levels, man, because when you get Tatum from that mid range and he is just lighting it up, Jaylen from the mid range lighting it up, and then all of a sudden you get Derek White and Brogdon open lanes for these floaters because they have to collapse in on Tatum and Brown. It's just when you get that 3-level scoring, it just brings your offense to a whole different level. It makes them have to think about, they could pull back and do that mid-range shot. It's so different for this offense when they're not just relying on that 3 because they become so one-dimensional when it comes to that point.
But
Plus,
don't you think
it
if we
takes
just
away
had a
that
couple
pick and
plays
roll,
to
like
run, if we just had a
Say
couple
again?
plays to run,
a
like just
few, yeah.
like a couple plays that like just got us back in the right headspace, like just got us
Right.
back to doing simple shit. Like
Yeah.
it seems like basketball 101 to talk about it, but it's like you're talking about like scoring at 3 levels, right? It's like, okay, you're relying on the 3 again. It's a bad habit that you guys get into. They shoot these half chances, like they're half shots, basically half open, right? And they're not dropping because you're relying on your role players to get hot or whatever the situation is. These are all situations we've seen. Scoring from 3 levels, like drop a fucking play. You know what I mean? Like call a timeout and drop a play for an easy 2. You should have like 10 of those in your back pocket. I feels like we have 0, and it's like,
Yeah.
yes, it works. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, right? Yes, it works. Bobby, I agree with what you're saying. It's nice to watch. You should be able to do it like at will.
Yeah,
Like,
No.
the frustrating thing is even when they do draw up plays, I feel like they draw up plays for the wrong people constantly. Like there
they're
was
dumb
one
plays
timeout,
though. They're
yeah,
dumb
and
plays.
there's one timeout where it was clear that they drew up a play from Marcus, and he took just like this off balance 3, and it was like, bro, that's what you came out with out of that timeout was
I feel like
was
I've seen that play like 4
goddamn play.
times and it's worked
It's
0 times.
Yeah.
it's so frustrating, man, and it almost feels like too when they do look like they ran a play and it looks like, things are running fluently, that's off the cuff half the time. I feel like it's just, they going by the flow and they just happen
Mhm.
to look good on one random possession.
Yeah.
Even when it looks like they're running a play. I don't even think they are at this point.
Yeah, but that's how it was in the third quarter, right? I think they outscored Miami 38-23 in the third.
Was it a 17-2 run at one point?
Well,
Something
no,
like that?
yeah, no, 16-0.
16-0, yeah.
It was
It
16.
was probably the most effective run of this series so far. Like to be
for
honest,
sure.
like
Of the season.
Without a
Oh,
doubt.
yeah.
Without
Of
a
the
doubt.
season.
but like,
Of
but
the
the
season.
thing is
It was
that
tragic.
like, and I don't even say I mean it was a good run, but I only say that in regards to the fact that we haven't been able to go on good runs against Miami at all. Like
Yeah.
that when they go on runs against us, they feel fucking devastating. Like
Yeah, they do.
like even if it's like a 13-3 or like even like a 10-4, like those runs just feel huge. Like every time they do
Yeah.
them, and like
Well,
when
the first 2 games, those are the pivotal points. Game 1, it was in the 4th
Right.
quarter.
because there's
We were
no
all talking
composure,
about
no
it.
response.
Right,
Like
and
no
then
composure, no response. It's like it's a fucking game of
Yeah.
runs, guys. It's gonna happen. And then in the time period where you should be responding to that, like call the timeout or don't. I don't give a shit, but just respond to that run. Get control of the game. Don't just like
Right.
have Al Horford dribble it over the fucking halfway line and then pull up for a 3. Like, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah.
like people are like, oh well, Al's not shooting well. Like this is the kind of shit you're seeing online, right? Al's not shooting well. So and it's like, why not? Because he should be killing you as the 4th choice. not trying to get you into the game. Like killing the
Yeah.
other team is the fourth choice, not trying
Yeah.
to get you into the game. Is the
How's
first
the
choice.
extra pass in the corner? That's
And
when
he-
he's
and he-
bringing
and he
his
kills
threes.
you
That
with
extra
that.
pass to the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you speak to that, but that's exactly what happened at times. But mainly the
Yes.
first half. He didn't do
Yes.
much in the second half, but I
But
feel
we
like
saw it. At least an
three
example,
threes in the
right?
first half helped. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, exactly. No, it's
Yeah.
spot on. I think getting him, he's still crucial to the offense because once again, if you're doing the extra like that extra swing pass, whether it's on the top of the key, he's okay for the corner. I feel like he's better at the top of the three than top of the key than he is in the corner. But that's just semantics.
It's like a little to the left of the
Yeah,
top.
well, yeah,
You know, a little
exactly.
to the
Yeah. So
left over on the
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
yeah, so I just think that hit him. I think him hitting 4 threes. I think Derek White hitting a 3. You know, even your boy Grant. I think he had the best game in a long time for him.
Yeah, he had a
Yeah,
good game.
You know,
I'm never gonna forgive him for game 3.
yeah,
We're
sure,
never
but
come back from that. He could score 40 a game for the remainder of his Celtics career.
yeah, but
we're never come back.
yeah, I mean, no, I get it. I mean, listen, it's 60 guns. I'm not mad at it, but I'm just like I'm gonna give credit where it's once again. If you he could have easily just said okay.
No, you're right.
just
He
checked
did.
out.
He performed well.
He-
He did.
He was
Yeah,
huge on
he coulda
defense.
checked
Defense
out.
especially. Defense
No, yeah,
especially for
listen,
Grant.
Because he wasn't guarding Jimmy Butler
when
one-on-ones. That's
he-
part of
when
it.
he
Well, that's
blo-
a
when he
fact,
blo- no,
so.
no, when he blocked Jimmy Butler's shot, I thought about it immediately and said even Dave had to be impressed with that
No,
play.
I was
That-
happy.
that-
Honestly, I was happy that he blocked a shot and then did not proceed to fuck the rest of the game up by believing his own myth. Like,
Yeah.
it's, dude, just block the shot, be a fucking role player. Don't turn around and be like, fuck you, Jimmy
Yeah,
Butler. What are you going to do now?
He was under control of it, and you can see his
Yes.
demeanor, right? Like I think there was like almost
Because he
like,
learned his
and
fucking lesson because got
was-
made into a little bitch on national television by an actual dog. Like, you can't do that to guys like Jimmy. I'm sorry.
nah, I think it was and we talked about this. Me and Bobby talked about this the other night. I'm glad you're back on hand now. Yeah, he said what he said. Okay, your 2 best players are supposed to back you up in that moment, and
absolutely-
they did.
I
And they
absolutely
did.
agree.
So to
Absolutely.
me, that to me, I have no issue. That's why, and I still don't. I have no issue with him saying what he said. Your best players are supposed to say, okay, all right, he's talking. All right, let's
Yes,
go. Let's
I
back
agree.
him up, bring this home, and they did. So, fuck 'em.
Systemically,
So,
systemically, Grant Williams is a symptom. He is a symptom. He is not a disease, right? Like, Grant Williams being put in a position to do stupid Grant Williams shit is a symptom of an already infected fucking culture in the mid game, right? Like, so if he's doing that shit, and like, remember, Reggie Miller was making this point, and like, I don't necessarily all the way disagree with it. He was saying like, well, Grant Williams was the only one fucking fighting. Like, he's the only one doing anything. It's like, it's the
Right.
wrong thing, but why are you it's good that Grant Williams did that. It's bad that Grant Williams felt like he was in a position to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
the
Right.
that's the
So, yeah,
problem,
no,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but to the point, like about him being under control, like I remember once again we've been screaming about them having a close quarters, and once again Miami went on another run again. And I remember Tano comes down on the left hand side, boom, he draws 2. Grant fills the spot correctly, gets to where he's supposed to do. Boom, top of the key, 3. They backed up 10. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yes, this is what we need from the others, and that's gonna be the case. Like, play decent defense, fill the lanes correctly, and once again, just be there. That's just where I'm at on that. So like I said, I'm happy for that. This what I'm about to bring up, I'm not so happy about, but it's something that we need to.
My favorite part of the dynamic, I
go
just have
go
to
ahead.
say this year,
Yeah.
my favorite part of the dynamic compared to last year is that every fucking show the 3 of us would jump on last year was me and Bobby being like, come on, Ray, it's going great. We're gonna win it all. And like this season, it's me and Bobby being like basically on suicide watch.
Yeah.
And you being like, listen,
I've had
guys.
my moments. I've had my moments.
No, I know, but I like the fact that
It has flipped
we
100%.
found the antidote to Ray being like suicidal about the Celtics is just we have to be suicidal. So he empathetically just goes like, all right, guys, it's not that bad. Like, there was some good
Yeah.
moments. Like, if you look at it
Oh, no,
from a
like-
basketball sense, like, it's not so bad. But anyway, yeah, continue.
Yeah, no, that's no. Hey, it's all about balance, baby. It's all about balance. But speaking of balance or lack of balance, Jaylen Brown, he has been subpar, and that's putting it lightly in the series. So I don't care whether he wants to go to Miami. I don't care if he wants to go to Osaka, Japan, to Cancun, whatever. He is not done what he needs to do in the series. So DK, I'll stay with you. And I'll just pose the question straight out: Has this man quit on this team?
Okay, I don't think so. What I see happening, and this might be like informing my own bias, which obviously I'm very guilty of a lot of the time, especially with the Celtics, because I'm all in. But
Mhm.
I think that what they're doing is really smart against Jaylen Brown. I think that, yeah, I mean, look, they all fucking quit in game 3. So to single him out for that specifically, like, would be tough. I've seen him be the only one to not quit when other people have quit in the past, but like that was a different sort of atmosphere, I think.
Yeah.
I think I can't figure out really from the body language or from what's going on and like all the weird offseason stuff and the Kevin Durant trade rumors, like logically, it does add up to maybe like Jaylen Brown isn't all in on this project anymore. Maybe, but I can't confirm or deny. What I do see is Spoelstra being like, I think it's going to be a lot easier to defend Jason Tate or to defend Jaylen Brown than it is to defend Jason Tatum. We're going to live with Jason Tatum going fucking berserk a couple of times. It's probably happened less than even he expected it to happen in this series. And what we're going to do is we're going to live with Jaylen Brown's mid-range shot. As much as I love it, like he's got a turnaround. He's, he can pull up from certain areas and be pretty much automatic. I love it. But Spoelstra's like, give them all those easy twos. Don't let him get hot from 3. Don't let him blow by you. Like, don't let him get speed going downhill. Like, I think that there's been more attention paid to Jaylen Brown than any other member of the team defensively. I also think he's the worst. His skill set fits the worst for penetrating a zone because I think the zone, to me, I mean, there's different schools of thought on this. We've had conversations about this, but to me, the zone is about moving them around, like making them abandon the edge of their zone slightly so that there's a gap and like making a play in there. And I think that's Jaylen Brown has 2 things that really hurt that the ability to do that. One is he is a spotty free throw shooter. So if he had the ability to hit 85% plus, I mean, obviously that's very, very good. But I think if you're somebody that has the athletic ability that he has, you get fouled a lot more, right? So he's a spotty free throw shooter, so that takes him out of the game a little bit. Also, I think that he has a little bit of a deficiency in handles, and that makes his court vision a little bit more narrow once he's inside. And I think inside passing is a big way to split up a zone. Now, that sounds like I'm hating on Jaylen Brown, like that he has a lot of deficiencies, but every player's got deficiencies. I just think that the zone highlights his deficiencies. So it might be wishful thinking, but I'd like to think that it's a matchup issue and not a mentality issue. But
Yeah.
maybe I'm crazy.
No, I couldn't agree more. There is points sometimes in the series where it does feel like Jalen's mentality isn't all there 100%, but at the same time, I think it's a product of the position the Heat are putting him in. Because what
It
do
must
you
be very
see?
frustrating to be him right now, right?
Yeah, well, 100%, because what Jalen does when he gets hot is he is an athletic freak. So you see him throwing down those slams. You see him getting to the hole with authority, and the Heat are just not letting him do that. So I think it's just a product of they're not letting him do the things he wants, and he's reluctantly, resorting back to that jumper. He's reluctantly resorting back to
'Cause
trying
they're
to
giving it
drive
to
it in
him.
and kick it out. They're giving it to him, right?
Yeah.
So he's taking those shots. And listen, Jalen's a good jump shooter, but he's not the best. It's definitely not the best part of his game, And it was almost the weak part of his game when he first came into the league. So yeah, his shot has developed, but it hasn't developed to the point where when you take away his primary athleticism and you take away the things that he loves to do, I think it just throws him off completely. Because I couldn't agree more that they're giving they're letting Tatum, yes, they're throwing those double teams at him, but I really think that their focus is definitely on Jalen, 100%, because they saw what they did to him last year. Listen, this is the same exact script with Jalen as last year.
Because they
Right,
saw what we do. What we do as a team when
right,
we win. When we win and we win effectively, we kill you with both those guys,
right.
But
How many
he did. Jaylen Brown went to work against him last year.
Yeah.
They didn't have an answer. And once again, this is the same exact team for the most part. And I said it last year. I'll say
Well,
it
I just
now.
meant the handles part, though. Remember how much
Got
they
you.
were picking
No,
him
I mean, but
apart in that
I
key
also
last year?
right,
In the
correct.
paint, in the paint.
No, facts. I also think, and once again, this just I can show my bias as well. But once again, all 3 of us are diehard Celtics fans. I do think that yes, are his handles shaky at best? Yes, that is not. It's not an opinion. That's a fact. I do think that once he gets into the lane, we're seeing some hand checks on the low that's not being called. And once again, you're not going to call it every time, But once again, as someone who sees them up
I don't
close
think
at
the refs
times,
have been on our side at all this series. I don't think that
No.
we've done
no.
enough to possibly really complain about the refs, but like there's been some pretty fucking egregious
Sure,
calls.
sure, but
I
I'm
also
only
think
speaking
the
to this
refs
point
kind of
anyway. I'm
hate
not
the
I'm not
fucking
speaking
Celtics
to
because they're a bunch of
I'm
little
yeah.
bitches.
Well, they
Yeah,
won't shut the fuck
I'm
up.
not speaking.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking to the overall. I'm just saying, just when he drives, I feel like they slap away with, especially guys like Kyle Lowry, like that. That's what he does.
I'll tell
But
you what, though.
I just think at some point, and I'm sorry, this is just where at some point you have to impose your will. So yes, they're making
100%.
it tough. They're doing certain things to make it hard to find. Okay, we talked about this before on the show. The three of us, any
Gotta beat the
combination.
refs too. All right, deal with it. Yeah,
Yeah,
suck
no,
it up.
exactly. Yeah. But first quarter, Jaylen is a top 5 player in this league when he's on. Maybe when he's locked in the first, like getting 13, 14, 15 points in the first quarter, like he's a top 5 player in this league when he's on like that right away. So excuse me. We need game. So the game 5 coming. We need game 5 for what he did last year. When he closed out that game, when he yammed on Bam at the end of that game, that it was up 18 at that moment. That's the emphatic closeout we need from him tomorrow. And he's fucking due. I'm sorry. Like he is due to have a game where you say, okay, this is why he was second team All NBA, because once again, he did well against Atlanta. He had great moments. He had good moments against Philly, but once again, he has been David Blaine this whole series, and he's been the biggest disappearing act. And I'm over it, quite frankly. It needs to change.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'm
guarantee
over it.
if you go back and look at his best games, there's at least 4 to 5 highlights of freak athletic plays that get his
Game
mindset
7.
going, bro.
Go back to game 7
Every
against Philly.
if
Yeah.
if you see him yamming on people, that's when Jalen's at his best because then his mindset just completely changes and it turns into a you're not taking this away from me. I'm taking it to you. You know,
Yeah.
it's such a different mindset with him. They have 0 chance of coming back in this series if we don't get at least one of these Jaylen games. We need a Jaylen performance if we have any chance of forcing it to
Yeah,
at
and
least
just
6 or
even
7.
not even 30, just 25.
Yeah,
And
bro,
I'm
just the
sorry.
Jaylen performance, man. Just a performance where,
I've
like,
seen him
Jalen's
dunk on
here.
Giannis. I've seen him dunk on just about everybody in the league. Don't tell me that he can't catch Bam or that he can't catch Kevin Love at the fucking rim. Don't tell me that. So I'm sorry. And once again, I think Dave brought up earlier in the show about Gabe Vincent's ankle being messed up. Listen, go. There's no way by tomorrow. One thing I know they did whatever they did to get the ankle right, and I hope he's good. Because once again, I don't want any excuses about another person went down. I don't want anything about that. So, but attack him. Put Smart, man, instead of Smart and Tam in the pick and roll, put Smart and Brown, because that's who Gabe Vince is guarding. Gabe Vince is guarding Smart.
Dude, I've been asking for the
Put them,
fucking Brown and Smart pick and roll for fucking years.
yeah,
It's like
yeah. So yeah,
I don't
put
understand
put,
why our star players won't run the fucking pick and roll as the screener. Like they just won't do it. You know,
It'd
like
be
yeah.
it'd be it'd be
I mean,
electric to have those 2 as the screener, man.
no,
it's
but
so
it worked. It
crazy.
worked.
Like,
It worked for. And I've been talking about this before. It worked for Nash and Amari back in the day. Like
right.
Yeah,
them
man.
running the pick and roll. That used to be.
That was the whole
And once again,
offense.
it is the most outside the skyhook. It is the most unstoppable offensive move or play of all time.
Yeah.
Like that's not like. And once again, I guess like because Paul is imperfection. This is a casual name drop here, but I remember even when Indiana was getting early 2000s, guys like Jamal Tinsley running real well with Jermaine O'Neal. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I don't know. For me, I don't know. I know I asked the question. I'm sure people will see this and say, how could Ray ask this? I can ask it because I'm helping. I'm participating on the show. That's how I can ask it. That's one. But two, I just wanted to see him do better because I expect better. I've seen him do better. And yes, once again, he was the guy in the finals that once again when Tatum and other guys, was hiding back in the locker room still, eating tenders and fries from catering. He was out there still going to work. So I just want to see that aggression because once again, you're not telling me that Kevin Love or Duncan Robinson or Max Strus or whoever, like they're not going to be able to stay in front of him. So just once again, figure it out. So if he has to be the guy on the corner where Tatum's in the middle, Tatum drives, he moves up from the corners like Dave said. Oh, boom, dumping underneath. Boom, you got a dunk. You got it. Remember that happened last night. He got a dunk during that run. Where I'm like, okay, let him go to the basket. Like, if he's there, it's going to work. So
Can I
that's
just say
just,
too, like,
yeah.
just in regards to before we move on from like the Jaylen Brown needs to get a fucking dunk to get his game going point, which I do agree with.
Yeah.
Like you guys pointing that out specifically about Brown is correct, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I just have felt that overall from the team this whole series, like I feel like they need to get into a fight. You know what I mean? Like they need to get into a fucking argument with somebody. Like I want to see like Marcus Smart chirping at fucking Max Strus, and I feel like I haven't seen that version of Marcus Smart in this series. Like if you're gonna still be the Marcus Smart to take fucking dumb shots, you also have to be the guy that's like angrily going after the ball, fucking chirping at people, getting in people's face,
Yep.
getting after it, like whatever. It brings me to sort of an overall point about the way that this team is like sort of set up as far as like a culture and a character. Like
Mhm.
Bobby has been like banging the drum of like Ime was the guy who created a certain toughness and a certain defensive stability in this team, and like him not being there
Mhm.
makes for these kind of weak points. When you look at what a coach is supposed to do, these little springing holes in your life raft of like, Jason's bitching too much at the reps, like Marcus isn't being as vocal as he normally is, like Jaylen's not getting his game going by like dunking on somebody, or Rob Williams isn't doing big earth-shattering blocks to get everybody out of there. Like that all stems from the fact that the guy at the top needs to be maestroing and controlling these bad
Mhm.
habits of these individual players. Every player has bad habits. Every player has different things, and every comment I went through a post yesterday on like the Boston Globe or something. And every comment was like, it was about how Joe Mazzulla sucks. Basically, it was the article, and the article was fair or not fair. I leave it up to you to decide, but the comments were like, "Can't blame the coach. These overpaid players, you get paid $30 million a year. You got to," but and it's like this kids these days bullshit is so ridiculous, especially when it comes to the NBA, because what you have is a bunch of guys that have been individually the best in their position in a one-on-one situation sport that comes up all the fucking time. It's the coach and the character of the team's job to unite the team and have them all working for each other and doing that stuff. You know, I know you guys don't watch soccer, but like the guy who coaches my team, Liverpool, when he came in, like he's known as one of the best coaches in the world. And one of the things he did really early was like, don't talk to the fucking referees. I'll talk to the referees. Nobody talks to the fucking referees. I'll fucking talk to them. And he goes berserk at them. Like he's currently serving like a suspension from the sidelines for freaking out at the fucking referees. But he doesn't let the players do it. He's like, play your game. You just go out there, you play your fucking game. Don't worry about the refs. Don't try and influence. And look, there's arguments to the opposite, in different sports to like try and influence the referees, whatever. But this group of Celtics players, they need this. They need to be like, focus on your fucking game. I'll talk.
Yeah.
And if Joe
Yeah,
had a
he
little
he
bit
he
more
made
personality
that
in
last
those
year,
situations.
actually. He did.
Exactly.
Yeah, he did it
Exactly.
last year with them. Yeah, he did.
Exactly.
After a while, yeah, he sure did.
And it's like, you gotta
yeah.
play your game. You're like, I want Marcus Smart to be Marcus Smart. I want Jason Tatum to be Jason Tatum. Don't fucking worry about the refs. Don't worry about what they're saying. I'll control that. And then once you have that established, and this might be a little late to establish this now, but then you start to dole out leadership responsibilities. You dole out the leadership responsibilities. You say, Marcus, I want you to take the lead here. When you're in this situation, I want to make sure I hear your voice. Jason, I want you to be able to take the lead here. When we're in this situation, I want to see your game come through. And I want like when you let them decide for themselves on the fly, and there isn't a singular voice that can cut through the noise, and the noise especially created by a team like the Miami Heat, that's what they thrive on, is creating noise for you. When there isn't that voice, that authoritative voice to say, calm down. This is what we're going to do. This is who we are. This is what we do. The platitudes are one thing, but there's a difference between establishing a culture and reminding your players the tenets of that culture and just saying basketball platitudes in a huddle. And all of us can tell the difference. I might not be able to tell you exactly what it is, based on specific different instances, but it just hits the ear wrong. It just hits the fucking ear wrong when it's just basketball platitudes, because it doesn't apply. We talk about Ubuntu all the time, and it's like, that's a tenet, that it might seem silly looking back on it, like to other fan bases or whatever, that we still talk about it, but it's a tenet, it's a focus, it's a pillar to remind them when they're in hectic situations, when the momentum is falling down on them, that this is what they get back to. Play defense, your shots will fall. Like these things that they can hear that will cut through eternal noise. And if one of those things is, to your guys' point, Jaylen, dunk the fucking basketball, then he'll hear it. You know, he'll hear it because you have a few of these that you can get through to the guys. And seeing people defend Joe Mazzulla, he's a rookie. I get it. Like, I'm not trying to be spiteful of the guy. I'm sure he's fucking trying his best. But at the end of the day, like, I know, I can see it. I know what a leader is in that role. And when Al Horford, 2 years his senior, is going, get the fuck out of the way and trying to establish that, it's a fucking disaster, guys. Like, it's a disaster. So, you know, I'm not trying to be fucking mean to the guy. It's just that, like, that to me is the thing we've been missing all postseason and in the regular season too, but it doesn't matter as much then. We've been missing it all postseason. And it's why I've basically been sure we're not going to win a championship since we played Atlanta. So, you know, I need that. I'm not ready to give up on the talent and mentality of these players because you can't decide based on this situation. I don't think, you know, I think that's unfair, you know? So
Yeah, we've had multiple shows in this playoff run where, you know, we sit here, we bitch about the players, we talk about different aspects of their game, we talk about this, we talk about that, but almost every single conversation we have ends up circling back to Joe Mazzulla and the leadership that he's providing. I mean, I've been in multiple positions in my professional career where I have very talented people around me. I know the people in their jobs can do their role, but because of some aspect of a misjointed leadership, that entire team and that entire project just absolutely falls apart. It doesn't matter how talented the people are. If you don't have someone that can sit there and bring all those ideas together and bring it into a formal thought, and everyone is out there just thinking about their own position and their own job and what they have to do rather than what the goal of the team is. It's so disjointed, and it always will be. Always, 100% of the time. You can skate by, you'll get by, but you may not, be proficient in that project, you know what I mean?
but
You're
the
not gonna be the
reveal,
best.
yeah, but I agree with you wholeheartedly because the reveal of that and how you can put your finger on that is if people are saying to you or me right now, Jason Tatum, he doesn't come through in this situation. He's a bitch. Da, da, da. And listen, while we're watching the game, guys, us collectively, we're guilty of this shit too. We're a little bit more emotional. I've had a few days to relax and think about it, right? I was in paradise. I was furious. The Celtics sitting on a beach. But like Jason Tatum has been that guy. He's hit that ceiling. So not seeing a certain level, getting to a certain level is a thing to worry about, right? Seeing it, but then also seeing a floor happen from time to time is less of a worry because it's like, oh, there's definitely a way to tap into his potential to get him consistently doing that. Like there's a way. There's a way to make his brain do that shit. There just is. But there's probably 9,000 ways to get him to stay on his floor. You know, there's so many more ways to get somebody to play fucking bad than there is to get somebody to play
Well,
bad good.
when you have to think these I've already said these sentiments multiple times in this playoffs is like when you get guys that are this athletic and this talented and you get them out there and you're making them think about the game of basketball and what they need to do and where they need to be at certain points, you've already lost. It's already over because these guys need to be out there knowing what to do. They need to see something and react rather than see something, think about it for a second, and then have to go about your offense in a certain way. It's such a different ball game, and I think, especially when it comes to Jaylen too. I remember this specifically last year in the Milwaukee series. Remember he laid that absolute egg in Game 1. What happened after Game 2? This dude was out there shooting shots 2 hours after the game of Game 1 and 2 hours before Game 2. He came out and had a great game. That's not the Jaylen Brown that we're seeing this year. We don't see that mental toughness to come back and do everything he can to try and make an impact on the game. Marcus Smart last year was an absolute dog. And there's clips of him in Game 4 being like, y'all talk too much. We beat y'all last year. What are you talking so? No one gives a shit about last year, Marcus. And it's just, I just feel like that's that entitled mindset that they've grown because they don't have someone being there like, guys, that was last year. No one gives a fuck about what you did last year. I'm sorry.
Which also, by the way, was fuck all. Like you didn't do anything. You know, it's like we don't celebrate fucking conference titles around here, dude. Like that's can we just remind ourselves of that fucking fact? Like, wait, like to be totally honest, like the lack of fucking spine in that specific way that you're talking about, Bobby, has been the issue. Like they're not the same dudes or whatever. And when you're doing anything at an elite level, anything at a level that is at the top of that business or sport or whatever, the margins are tiny. The margins are so small. You know, it's Brian Scalabrine. I'm closer to Michael Jordan than you are to me. You know, it's like the margins between these players, they might look big in certain situations, but they're fucking tiny. They're all way better than us. You know, even the worst guys, right?
Yeah.
So if you do lose, if you do turn an intensity dial 0.01% down, that can show up to this degree. So you got you got to keep everybody at 100%. But it's like, yeah, that is the problem. It is their
Well,
because we know
well,
they're talented.
right. Well, speaking of turning things down, Malcolm Brogdon, I have an APB out. I have a bolo out for him. Whatever
2 in a
paperwork you want
row,
to.
man.
Yeah, in the words of Biggie, I got him on a milk carton missing. Like it's ridiculous. Like I don't know what is happening to him. So Bobby, the floor is yours, man. Just how do we get Brogdon back on track? 'Cause once again, he was supposed to be the missing piece, and that's something we've lamented since last year. We came on, we talked about it. Obviously, he went 6 man in the year. So just how did they get him back
I
on
don't
track? Once again, I think that he needs to be. They need him to win the series, obviously.
Yeah, I just think he needs to start hitting his fucking shots, man. I don't know if there is
It's your
if there
shots,
is
bitch.
well, if there is a way to get back on track because I feel like they're putting him in the position to be successful. I mean, he's still getting those open floaters. He's still getting those open layups that he's been nailing the entire playoffs. He's just missing literally every single one of them. I haven't seen did he hit one last game? I think he hit one, right? He hit none last
He's
game either?
let's I'll yeah, keep
Last 2
talking.
games, he's like
I'll
0 for
refer.
12, 1 for 12 from the floor, and they're all open. That's the thing is, like, he's been missing open threes and open floaters and open layups, man. I don't know what happened to him, and he seems
Oh,
to be
sorry.
very
He was 1 of 5. Sorry, he was
1 of
1 of 5.
5, and he was 0
Oh,
of
oh,
6.
0 of 2 from 3. 0 of 6 in game 3 though.
Right, so 1 of 11 over 2 games for
Yeah.
our savior is not what we're looking for here, and it's
No.
partially the reason why we were down 3-0, you know what I mean? What the biggest thing in that Sixers series, all 3 of us said it multiple times, was when Brogdon was in there in the crunch time, we felt much better about our chances. We felt much better about the offense, the way it was running, everything about when Brogdon was out there. That has not been the case this series. It's a 180 completely. So something needs to wake up inside of him. I don't have an answer because literally I'm seeing the same Malcolm Brogdon game. He's just missing the shots.
And this is not a knock on DK because he's not the only one that's been he's not the only one that's brought up this point. We've gone on Grant and rightfully so at times, so don't get me wrong. Malcolm Brogdon has been getting he's been getting like just dog walked on defense. Harden was cooking his ass, and now like I said, he can't do this with Jimmy Butler. Like he was supposed to
Can
do some of
I
that
make
defense
a
well.
defense
He
of
can't do
Malcolm
shit.
Brogdon? Can I just defend Malcolm
Please,
Brogdon for like a
please.
hot
Yeah,
second?
yeah,
do.
go ahead, go ahead.
You're not wrong. Like everything you guys just said are empirical facts and statistics that very, very difficult to argue with those. And I'm not going to. I'm not like a Republican. But
He
like
did make
I,
one of those shots. What are you
but
talking
like
about?
but what I will say, I'll phrase it in the form of a rhetorical question. I'm gonna answer it myself. Has our backcourt been good for the entire playoffs? Like our backcourt. Like our entire backcourt has been absolutely dog shit for the entire playoffs. Like we talked ourselves into it being fine in the Atlanta series because they had Trae Young, right? When we started coughing up fucking points in the backcourt, not playing good one-on-one defense on their guards. We were like, well, I mean, it's Trae Young. It's Trae Young. So we'll see what happens next series. Harden's like 900 years old. Then you go to the next series and Harden fucking starts cooking you. You make him look like he just took a limitless fucking pill and rolled the fucking years back 5 years and goes bananas and beats you without Joel Embiid in game 1. Backcourt, absolute trash. Marcus Smart shows some glimmers and some fight in the Sixers series. So he gets past, but the whole backcourt's fucking trash. Now it's getting exploited the most by the Miami Heat. Why? Because if they're going to do anything offensively, their guards need to be hot. That's 100% like what their fucking team looks like, right? Like, okay, Bam can be your second guy. Like if Bam gets like 17 and 10 rebounds, then you're probably looking at a win for the Heat. I can see that. I concede it. But if you don't have the kind of shot production from Gabe Vincent and Max Strus and Jimmy Butler, obviously that's more of a hybrid role because he does a lot of shit. But like If you don't have the kind of offensive production from those guys that we're allowing them to have, then they're not winning these games. And if you're looking at Malcolm Brogdon sucking and absolutely putting in horrific defensive performances, he's got to be with his buddies, Derek White and Marcus Smart, guys that claimed that they were the greatest defensive backcourt in the league, right? This season said that. Marcus Smart said that shit. On fucking TV, he said that shit. So, like, you're turning around and saying that, and then you're laying a fucking egg from the backcourt on, because quite frankly, Al Horford did his fucking damnedest against Joel Embiid one-on-one. Rob Williams came and contributed at times defensively, maybe not as much as we'd like him to in the playoffs, but that front court, right? Fine. I'm good with it. We took the MVP out. Like, like he was fucking killing us in that front court. We took the fucking MVP out. We're good here. We're like, you guys can go home. The rest of you, the fucking guards, you're staying after practice, okay? And we're going to talk about how to fucking get underneath screens or over screens with some aggression, right? We're going to talk about playing up on guys one-on-one. We're going to talk about not biting on every fucking up fake that a fucking third-string guard is putting on you, dude. What the fuck, guys? Like, where's the backcourt leadership? Where is that overall? Malcolm Brogdon, yes, this shit should be laid at his feet. Absolutely. His individual performances, I agree. But the whole fucking backcourt as a unit have been absolutely trash, bro. Especially from the defensive end. And Derek White, I think there's reasons, confidence reasons there. Malcolm Brogdon, like Bobby said, I don't have an answer either. Marcus, you're the fucking leader of the backcourt, bro. Like, where are you at?
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I thought him, Smart and White hit timely shots last night.
Yeah, last night being an exception.
Yeah.
I do agree that, like,
Yeah, I thought Marcus Smart was on his way to having a great game too, and then the second half happened. Because the first half he was Marcus last year, and I was like, oh, like, okay. He had 10 assists at the half. I was like, oh, okay, like this
and two shots, and then he had 5 shots in the first
but then
3 minutes.
He didn't get past the fucking ball again for the entire. Yeah, exactly. Like, what the? That's just bad game planning.
Right, exactly. So I mean, excuse me. So that's what that was. But yeah, no, listen, that's fair. I just think once again it was the expectations thing. That's where I'm at. That we all have high expectations for all of them on the roster. So yeah, I think like I said what we said was valid. What you're saying is valid. I just hope once again. I think between Brogdon, I think probably his bestie on the team because him and Jaylen Brown are really close off the floor because we learned that in the bubble. I think that those two in particular are due to have a game that you're like, okay, let's rest on their shoulders for today. I would think obviously you still need them, you still need others to to play at a high level. But I think like I said, Brogdon and Brown, like we need something from y'all. But I want to transition to Time War for a little bit. We just brought up his name recently. I think his help defense has been phenomenal. I think that you know, we haven't had any signature raw moments in the series until last night. Like I thought it was a couple plays that Jimmy went to the basket and did the fake that you're talking about. Got his defender up and Rob was like, "Oh, okay, hey, well I'm not gonna jump. I'm just gonna jump again and then punch your shit into the second row." So Bobby, I'll start with you on this one. Just have you been pleased with Rob's defense overall, and just do you want to see more from him offensively? I think that he has another level to go to. If the series is going to go longer.
Yeah, I just want more Rob. Period. Offensively, defensively, I think it's such a difference maker against his team when he's out there because it makes a guy like Bam. We said this the bubble year, man. It makes a guy like Bam have second thoughts about going in there offensively and yamming on people, and then on the flip side, less confidence defensively. When you have a guy like Rob out there, you can't commit like Bam has been able to do on Tatum or on these guys being able to stop them at the hole because Rob is there for the lob. You know what I mean? He's there if you come off him. So I just think that's so huge, and it's been very honestly annoying to me because that was half the reason, again, we made that run last year. I don't know if it's maybe his knee, that load management stuff. I don't get it, man, because 25 minutes of Rob is so huge. And right now we're averaging what? It's like 19, 20 minutes a game for Rob. And that's not enough. That's not enough to make Jimmy think about having to drive to the basket, to make these guys think about it. Because listen, Al Horford's great. He really is. but he's not a rim protector in any way whatsoever
But
anymore. He's
the
not.
thing is, Bobby, like, I don't want to talk about Joe Mazzulla anymore, and I'm not trying to derail your point.
It is Joe.
It
No, it's 100%
already
Joe.
worked. It already worked in the fucking Sixers series. It already fucking worked. You did it, Joe. You did it. Like, you literally were like, PJ Tucker can shoot. Rob, stand there. You're on help. Don't bite on so many fucking up fakes. It worked already. Playing him 34 minutes, 32 minutes, whatever, 30 minutes. Shit. 30. I'll take 30. It's just it already worked, bro. We're saying this like it's a miraculous new idea. You know what I mean?
Another thing that it's mind-boggling too, because it's not like Al was playing any sort of, above his level. He was playing below what we expect of Al. So the fact that we haven't
Mhm.
seen more Rob to me is just baffling, man. It really is. And yeah, I think it just goes back to discombobulated game plan. I don't think, you know, I don't want to not. Do you think Joe knows that Rob only played 17 minutes in the last game, or knows that
I
this
don't
dude
think
only
Well,
played 20 minutes in game three?
I don't think he knows his way
he
back
gets
to
a
the
pass for
hotel,
yesterday,
to
though.
be honest.
He gets a pass for yesterday because of how the scoring of being, but like,
That's true. That's true. Okay.
yeah, and
Yesterday's fine.
in other games, it's just like, yo, like, this is where we're in. You're fighting for your playoff lives
It's just
literally
so
every game out.
yeah.
Like you said, I'll say it for you. It's frustrating to see this happen game in and game out. It's like, yo, if something happens to him where he, he jams a finger or whatever, it's like, yo, I just want him out there. And
Suck it up, bro.
you can't control what happens. So just be out there. Stop coddling or babysitting his minutes, and just let him go out there and be free safety, be that threat at the rim. Because once again, that to me, that's how you break the zone as well, right? We talked about, Miami being in the zone and it's being effective. Yeah, it's being effective because the discipline wasn't there until last night. If you make multiple passes and make them, you make them go side to side, shout out to 36 Mafia, make them move side to side, like, you actually have a shot. Like, Rob could get 15 to 20 points because they have not had an answer for him this whole series when he's played at all. Defensively, offensively, they have not had a problem. I mean,
I
a
don't mean
solution
to
for him.
make it sound like oversimplified. Like, forgive me if it
But it
does.
is. It's simple.
I know this is easier said than done, but like Rob Williams used to only be able to score if he caught the ball within like 5 feet of the basket, maybe less, right?
Yeah.
Like on alley
Mhm.
oop, or if he caught it like right underneath the basket. He needs to be imbued with the confidence to catch the ball when there's a defender somewhat in between him and the hoop. And like, I just want, and like this maybe seems really obvious to me. Maybe I'm not, maybe I'm crazy, whatever. He doesn't seem super confident when he's going towards the basket when he catches the ball early, right? Like, but he has been effective doing that in the past. Like, will somebody please get this man a Euro step? He is like the fucking longest guy out there. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking one move, dude. Like, I just want you to know one move, and I swear to God, he could be scoring 22 fucking points a game.
Yeah,
So
even that one
maybe
dribble,
not, maybe not a
dribble
Euro
up
step.
fake would work for
Yeah.
that one dribble up fake would work every
Sure.
time.
I think a drop step would be
Sure.
That's
Sure.
important. The drop,
Yeah.
so little spin, little boom, give a little
Give
elbow,
him one
like,
move. Give him
Yeah.
one move.
Let's put this out there though. If this is an issue where it's Rob's minutes and it actually does need to be watched and he can't contribute what we're saying. If it's actually a thing, then we need to look elsewhere in this offseason.
Absolutely.
Because
Can't rely on him. You can't rely on him.
yeah, this can't be a thing if we're actually going to have championship aspirations. It cannot be. It's not like well, maybe no. You will not win a championship if
There's
you
times where
don't have a
there's
top
times
level
this
rim
season-
defender. It's
There's
period.
yeah, I agree. And there's times this season, Bobby, where we've talked to each other and been like, Grant might be the third best player. Like, he's had moments over the past 2 years where it's like, he might be the third guy. Like, he really is like so fucking important when he's doing this and he's playing safety role. And
You
he's
mean
doing that.
Rob, not Grant. You
Or
said
sorry, Rob. Yeah, of course, not Grant.
Put it on a tip, Craig.
Grant. Holy shit.
Yeah, no. Sorry, I meant Rob. The good Williams brother. But like, there's times where we've thought that about him, where he's been so
100%.
effective, like playing the free safety role, like all this stuff we were talking about. And it's like, you can't have your third guy if that's the case. If we do think like bottled talent, like I always say, there's potential for him being the third best guy. He can't be that injury prone. Like, he just can't. It's just not.
Especially
it's not
this deep into the player. Because listen, it's not even
also,
like
if you're saying the
he
quiet
had
part
heavy-
out loud, like, what Ray sort of alluded to, but if you really do say it out loud, where Ray's like, "Oh, maybe you jam your finger when you're out there," it's like, you know what? Maybe there's times where you're being a little fucking bitch, Rob. Like,
Yeah.
maybe there's times where you just need to suck it the fuck up and play through the pain. Like,
And
honestly,
that's what
because
Adoka did for him last year. Remember, he played through that pain, man. And I just don't see that this
they
year.
all had this, like, little
Oh,
blessing of intensity, like that
yeah,
that
but I think that ties back to just what they built from February on last year. I just think there was just like a look. We got something special brewing here. We can't let this moment slip. So I think they were just like whatever moment we got. So once he went down after that Minnesota game last March, I think that was just the goal from then on. It was like, look, we have something special brewing here. We've been on fire. Because once again, either they was losing by 10 or they were beating your ass by 30. Like there was no in between. Last year. They was either
Kind of what
blowing
it
you
is
out
this year, too.
or yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's unbelievable what's happened in the last 4 months, but and we keep harping on it because it's just like, yo, like, just can we just get a glimpse of that? If you get a glimpse of that, if you'll just play above average, you're about to make history.
Yeah,
And
with
and,
the
and that's and
with
that and I'm maybe I'm oversimplifying to take Dave's words. If you legit just play above average, not even play phenomenal. If you play above average, like everybody play above average, you at least at the least you're pushing it 7 games.
well, that's what it was last game, right? I mean, they didn't play phenomenal in game
No.
4, right? They didn't like light the gym up like DK said earlier. It was just a steady pace. They kept pace the entire game. And
Yeah.
then when they had their moments, they took them and ran with it. And that's how you saw what you did in game 4. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? So
I
it's
actually
it
literally promised myself I wasn't gonna say this out loud on a podcast, but you guys are like alluding to it now, and I'm just like gonna say it out loud. Like I've had this gnawing thought at the back of my fucking head that like if there was ever gonna be a 3-0 comeback, it would have to be a situation where the worst team won 3 games somehow. Like, but like the way worst team won 3 games somehow, right? Like it's not like you're gonna mount a 3-0 comeback against like a LeBron James Heat team. You know what I mean? Like we have been so frustrated by the fact that we're not worse than them, right? Like we
Yeah.
are better at basketball to a man than this team. So I have had this fucking stupid thought, of course, like because my brain doesn't work right in the back of my head going like, well, I mean, if there was ever a situation where a 3-0
Yeah.
could happen, it would be
Yeah.
where like a
Yeah.
situation where we're a lot like a really high seed versus an 8 seed and some other won 3 games, and then all of a sudden it's like because honestly, and I'm sure every single fan of every team that's ever been in this position before has thought this, I think we can beat them 3 times in a row. Like, I think we're a bit like for at the time of recording, I think we can beat them 3 times in a row. Like, I just do. Like, but I don't think that we can if the trick version of the fucking Celtics comes out. If the
Yeah.
treat version comes out, it's one thing. But if the trick version comes out, and listen, is it likely? No. No. God, no. I don't think it's gonna happen. Is it possible?
Yeah.
Based on the
Yeah.
talent level? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last time that it even got pushed to game 7 was maybe
was
it
it
was
Portland
it might be
like
yeah, so
early
yeah,
2000s, right?
like get out of my head. But yeah, like I think it was either Portland, Dallas, or Dallas, Sacramento. One of those two. Like they just actually it was Portland, Dallas. They were down 3-0 and they came back. I think obviously they didn't complete it because they ended up losing the
They
7
lost in
games.
game
But
7, yeah.
yeah, like that's the closest but we've seen it. So yes, just like we've seen a 16 beat a 1, we've seen Ace beat a 1. So I remember the Denver Nuggets back in the day, were the first 18 AC
The
to beat
Warriors are
one.
the Warriors.
Yeah, yeah, the Warriors did that.
It's the last
Yeah,
situation we
you know,
haven't seen. We've seen the
yeah, it's
3-1
like yeah, last thing.
comebacks,
So
like, there's
eventually it is going to happen. Once again, I'm with you, Dave. I don't know if it's going to be now. So once again, for those that's listening, we're not hedging our bets. We're just really saying what we feel in the moment. Once again, I would love we would all love to see a game 7. I thought it was going 7 anyways. Like I didn't think that it was going 5 or 6. I just that to me,
But here's the thing,
I
though. Even if we got to 7, right? Like, there's a
yep,
situation. If you imagine yourself in a situation where we force a game 7, and like,
yep,
obviously the national conversation has shifted fucking dramatically if that's happened, right? Like, a lot of different shit is getting said if that's happening. You're going into a game 7, and you're having a very different.
Don't get me excited.
No. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to. But if I wouldn't put a dollar on it, to be honest. But if
yeah, facts.
if if we're having a very different tenored conversation than the night before Game 7, or 2 nights before, previewing Game 7, the reason I still don't think we would win the series is because in order to win that Game 7, you would have to have either a situation where Miami are going, "Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, we're fucking this up. We're about to be the most and I don't think they're that kind of team. Or you have a situation where the Celtics are going, all that noise is out. It's one game. We're going to go win this one game. Forget the comeback. Forget this. And I don't think they're that kind of team, to be honest. So you need a perfect storm. You need
And
a
that's what it
perfect
was against
storm.
Philly, though. That's what it was. I mean, I know what a 3-0 was 3-2, but
But I think that
that game
the
7 was
cloud
that.
cover is a lot thicker if it's the first time in history that a team has done it. I
Oh,
think.
sure,
You
sure,
know.
sure. But I just think maybe. I know you don't follow baseball like me and Bobby do, but like I just obviously Bobby and I both were at. Well, I'm assuming we both was in high school, but when that happened, but
I'm not that old, Rayshawn. God damn it.
no, I forget. No, we're 2 years apart, but no, I just remember. I'm obviously the first one. Dave Roberts does. You get the Game 5. Game 6, man. By the time Mark Bellhorn hit that home run and Game 6 off the foul ball, you're just like, okay. And then Schilling does what he does. You're like, oh, whoa, like they
And then
came
the
back and tied it. And once again, this is the fun-
Damon Grand
this is-
Slam
this
Game
is the-
7.
Okay, but let me ask
Yeah,
you guys
great,
this
yeah.
question now, as Red Sox fans. The 3 losses.
Yep.
What did they feel like?
They were
Oh,
debilitating.
it was
They were rough, man.
Armageddon. It was
One of 'em-
Armageddon. Listen,
So it's almost the same exact script.
19-8,
Yeah,
that
it was almost the
19-8,
same
the same-
exact script, which is
yeah,
creepy.
it is. It really is. It wasn't. I tried to stay away from it because I was just like, I didn't want to even go down that route, but it's just like obviously.
I love how by the end of this
it's like-
episode, we're
it's
like,
that-
Celtics 7.
It's just like, but it's just like that's. Well, no, I'm with you. Like I still don't think this happens, but I just, to me, it once again, if we're part of it is we're talking about it, so we bring up hypothetical situations, but to compare to that, right? That 19-8, that night, and I remember sitting in my grandmother's house, and my grandmother did not usually swear around me, and my grandmother put me on to baseball. My first game ever was watching Roger Clemens get 20 strikeouts for the second time against Detroit before he left to go to Toronto. So I'll never forget that moment. And I'll never forget my grandmother in the kitchen making food or whatever. And they lost 19-8. She was like, these fucking bums. And I was like, whoa, okay. I called her Nani. I said, okay, Nani. Like, I said, are you that mad about this, whatever? But in my grandmother's mind, she's seen 86. She has seen 75. She has seen 67. So she has seen all these other moments in her mind. She's like, if it's not going to be now, they'll never get it. Thank God that was not the actual case. So, I mean, listen, we ourselves here on the show, other shows, other outlets have talked us into potentially seeing a 7th game. But at this moment, it's like, shit, why not now? Once again, if you want to talk about legacy defining moment, this would erase a lot of talk that's been around this core if you at least get it to a Game 7 and then actually win. So
before we actually entertain that fact, I just need them to come out and show up for Game 5. Okay,
right?
I just have a feeling in deep in my soul that this team is going to give us fool's gold, and then when the push comes to shove, when the shit hits the fan, it's gonna be the same exact shit. Because it just seems like with this team, when the first ounce of adversity, this makeup
the
of
first
the Celtics
negative
team,
domino falls. You
bro,
can
it
see
just
the entire fucking house of cards fall over.
Yeah, and it happens so quick, and it's so funny because last year was the exact opposite, where the Celtics team could do no wrong for both me and DK.
They never lost 2 in a fucking row, bro. I was so sick of that statement.
Yeah, but those things add up to like, mentality.
The vibe was so different, man. Yeah, it was so different. And I just, with this team, I don't have faith that they can go 3 more games without playing a bullshit game.
The vibes are off still.
Yeah, that bullshit is just around the corner. We just kind of hit it under the bed because Mama came in. But when Daddy comes around, bro, those toys are right fucking back out. It doesn't fucking matter.
No, exactly. But let me ask you this, right? I'll ask both of you this. Obviously, we all watched the game. When Miami went up 61-52, didn't you think it was over then?
Yes.
I was hoping it was
okay.
Over
and then they went up. It was in the second quarter. They went up by like 6.
And then Tatum went ballistic. to get it back within 3. I think Smart ties it, and then next thing you know, they basically go on the like I said, they go on that run. So my thing is once again, there's something about this team overall with elimination games where once again, and you said it already, when they don't have to think, they play free. It's a different type of team. That's why I'm not worried about tomorrow. Once again, if they win tomorrow, like I said, maybe game 6 they eventually fold or whatever, which I think that's what's gonna end up happening. But I just think tomorrow in front of the crowd, once again, I don't see them losing 3 in a row at TD. I expect that building to be insane. And I said we can just get into that because that's the last thing I wanted to get into unless I have something y'all wanted to address.
We're so
Um,
shit at home though. Like we're so terrible.
honest, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they were great on the road last year in the playoffs too. I just think that's
This thing
maybe I don't know, but I just that's weird because right for a team that's mentally weak, as we all have been saying, for them to be that good on the road, you can't be mentally weak if you're winning on the road like that. So
well,
something has to give.
the thing I
Something has to
think
give at some point.
we can parlay this right into the prediction because I think it's gonna be very clear very early what we're getting from this team. And I know we've said that same exact thing many times, but I think what happens at home
True.
is the Celtics fans, you know, like us included, man. We know this squad and we know this team so well because we've had it for so many years. So that home crowd knows when that team is shit in the bed, and they know when that team has given up and not playing up to their effort. So everyone in that building just has this tenseness to them of like, what the fuck are these guys doing? And they can feel that vibe from the crowd. They 100% can. You look at that game 7 against Philly when we were electric because we came out and started playing
'Cause they're front
Celtics
runners.
basketball
'Cause they're
early.
fucking front runners. That's
It's
what they
just
are.
they don't have the ability, I think, to take a crowd that is hostile towards them because they're fucking up. You know what I mean? Because they're making those mistakes. They don't have that ability to shake that, I don't think. So I think that first quarter is so pivotal in this next game. If the Celtics lay an egg in that first quarter, I don't think they stand a chance in this game. That crowd needs to be electric early. They need to be behind them. And if they
So
don't have
yeah,
that support from the crowd,
mhm.
it's
Because
not happening.
game 7 looked like an OKC game, and for those that know what I mean, look back at that OKC run when they were making the finals and Golden State went to a couple of conference finals. There was games when you didn't
It's like
see
a
people
college
sit.
crowd, man.
Right? No,
Yeah.
yeah, but you didn't see people sit down. That's how game 7 was here. I don't know how it looked at on TV, but like once again, I'm there, like I'm in Lowe's area. Like people were not sitting for most of that game, and once again, especially when Tatum caught fire, it was like, oh yeah, everyone wanted to see if he was like, let him get 60. I was just like, listen, they won the game. Let's just get out to Miami. Like we got bigger fish to fry. And I'll put them wrong in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. But I mean, what do you have as a picture for Samar tonight, DK?
I mean, it's difficult for me to talk myself into them not like absolutely shitting on my chest like they have for the entirety of the fucking playoffs in the Garden. Like this team has laid out some
What
of
movie is that?
I feel
I
like the
think it's a
American Pie,
movie. I think it's a
probably.
movie you have to find on private housing on your Firefox there, Bob. But
Don't look at my suggestion.
the point I'm trying to make is I would take the game 5 performance and the in the Sixers series and the game 3 performance in this series as examples of the fact that like when as much as when they have their backs against the wall in elimination situations, they act a certain way. They can do that as a one-off. Like to me, it's they don't fold next game, they'll fold game 6, like you said, right? Like I for some reason game 6 is kind of sticking in my mind as the game that we sort of finally go like, all right, well, we fought back and we can whatever. I think that they will win tomorrow. I think that they will lose in game 6.
So
I hope that they don't. I mean, I
You
like
putting your shades on, Ray?
there's such a strange
listen,
reality, like the fact that like if this team is the team that comes back from 3-0 down, if they are the most, it's like they're not. Like
yep.
that's not what this team is. I don't think so. I don't know.
So these are usually, worn for, mourning, usually for funerals or whatever, but I'm taking them off because it's not going to be a funeral for game 5 We're going back to South Beach. We're going back to Prime 112. Get us a ribeye steak, baby, or a porterhouse steak. That's more money.
Porterhouse, baby.
We're getting the win with the garlic butter. Oh, it's phenomenal.
The strip and the fillet, bro. Count me in, man.
Phenomenal. So yeah, C's found a way. Is once again, I'm even gonna give a score. I'm gonna say 107, 102. I think that's something. I think that's a decent score for tomorrow night. So
Can I ask a question?
If they win,
Of
they win by
course.
20. If they win, they win by 20, in my opinion.
listen, I'd rather your scenarios than mine because the 107, 102 will have my heart on my fucking chest. But go ahead, DK.
I'm just curious what you guys think because I know what I think about this situation, but I also know that I don't really want it to happen. But like, would you say that like a smack is better for the momentum of trying to mount this comeback? Like a 30-point fucking blowout is like, on the parquet floor is better for momentum, or a game-winning shot? Like, which one would, like, I think galvanize, and I mean this group of players specifically, to actually go on and force then a game 7? Like, what situation? I don't want a close shot situation because I genuinely think I'll be in the fucking Discord being like, they're not gonna fucking win. They're not gonna hit this shot. They're a bunch of bums, and it's gonna be.
What you mean
upsetting.
a contested Jason Tatum 3?
Yeah, like something. Yeah, like like
or
something
it could
like
be like
along
game
those
1 in
lines.
Brooklyn. He does that.
Or a cool play, which I doubt it's going to be that because we don't run those anymore. That's a thing of the past. But like, like that spin move that Tatum runs and like puts it away, something like that. I think we haven't really seen it happen. It's just been blowouts or we get blown out. But also, I would much rather have the tenor of the Discord be like, we're up 30 and we're talking about what the strategy is going to be going into game 6 and like how to, just having a casual conversation about what game 6 looks like would be better on my heart. My doctor would appreciate that better. But I think we could really galvanize this team with like a fucking buzzer beater,
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, but I would really like to see Mr. Champagne in the game, in game 5. That's I feel like that should be the goal. If Champagne is on the floor, we're good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, once again,
Where did he
I
come
don't.
from, by the way? That's another show.
I
No idea where the fuck that guy
Well,
came
he
from.
definitely came from the Champagne Alps in France. Otherwise, his name would be Sparkling Wine. So if he's calling himself, okay, go ahead.
Well, there's no
little dad
sex,
humor for
no
you.
no sex in the champagne room. But no,
No matter what a stripper tells you,
There
right.
is no sex
in
in the
champagne.
champagne room.
That's fucking lie.
So such a classics. Right, exactly. Honestly, I don't care how it happens. I don't care.
That's what you say to the stripper when you go into the champagne room.
Exactly. What $1.20. Either way, it's not going home. But no, I just think
$1 you're going home with herpes.
Yeah, $1, you're getting the lower the barrel.
right. But no,
That's the day shift. That's the
right,
day
no,
shift.
oh
right
God,
there.
I know. Totally off the rails. No, I just know. But listen, it either I don't care if you win by 1, you win by 30. I just want to hear Eddie Palladino say, and that's the ball game. Celtics win whatever score, and it's Geno time. That's what I want to see. So I don't care how it happens. Just find a way to get it done. And what it was here to the God of death, not today. So for the real BK, Bob Kelly, and my guy DK Sizzle, I'm Hype with Rashawn Buchanan, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Electricast. Welcome to Tuning Into Sound Wellbeing, where we harmonise your mind, body and soul. I'm Amanda, your sound therapy expert.
And I'm Stephen, the curious explorer uncovering the mysteries of sound.
Together we explore vibrations, frequencies and the power of sound therapy and tuning forks.
Discover ancient wisdom, reduce stress and tune into a healthier life. Subscribe to Tuning Into Sound Wellbeing today.
Hey there, fabulous souls. I'm Stephanie Baklaan.
And I'm Eden Alpert.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Unapologetically Fab.
Get ready to join us on an amazing and real journey as we dive into life after 40 and own it.
We're all about changing the narrative, leaning into who you are, and living a life by your own design.
Join us as we embrace life unapologetically and redefine success.
This is Unapologetically Fab,
An Electric Cat production.
See you there.